Hello and welcome to this episode of Content Marketing Commute in beautiful Avignon, and I am today joined by Tom Winters from SEOwind. How are you?
Hey, really good to be here. Lovely city.
Oh man, fantastic to have you here. We're going to get walking. It's interesting that your company is called SEOwind because it is quite windy today.
It is.
Maybe you brought it with you.
A little bit, I'll try to make it work.
Yeah, you'll try and reduce the wind when we need to. No,
yeah,
that's good.
Sure thing.
Cool, Tom. Well, let's get walking. Fantastic to have you here. It's just turned out that you were coming through Avignon. You're not living here or anything.
No, I'm not. And I was on my way from Warsaw, Poland to Spain, actually. And then I saw on my map that Joe is in Avignon, and I had to stop here. It's like...
Love it.
Amazing coincidence.
Amazing coincidence. Fantastic you could be here, man. And we're going to get all into SEO because you are I'd say you're a leading authority on SEO. I see you on LinkedIn. You share some great stuff, man.
I'm trying to share as much as I can from my side, so I hope that also you get something from this episode.
Yeah, fantastic, man. Okay, so we're going to dive into a whole lot of things around SEO. It's just going to be a great casual conversation as we take a walk through Avignon. But I want to give a shout out to Trish Seidel, who's probably the reason why we got connected. We did an episode way back at the start of the podcast, and you do a bunch of content with her as well.
Yeah, I try to do, I love what she's doing. So if you can follow her, she's amazing. So yeah. Hi, Trish.
Hi, Trish. We'll link to her in the description. Brilliant. Well, Tom, first of all, I want to just get straight into it. And speaking SEO, probably a few weeks back, one of the biggest things that happened was this leak, this big leak, right, of all sorts of information about Google search, etc. Can you just give us your thoughts on that? Maybe give us a summary of what it said.
Okay, so from my perspective, what I see that Rand Fishkin leaked is a warehouse of some information about SEO, but we don't actually know exactly what is it used for. Assuming that it's used for page ranking, definitely I can see some confirmation of the things that all the SEO experts were seeing. So that authority matters, that backlinks, for example, that were already said that they don't work. They do, probably, and they will still work because they're amazing. So authority is a big factor. There's a lot of factors, a lot more than we maybe anticipated that we should look at. But from my perspective, to simplify it a little bit, we should look at the valuability, how valuable is our content and the authority that we have. So these are the two biggest factors, of course. You can divide them into smaller pieces.
Yeah, and so it's not necessarily surprises there. Like you were telling me earlier, it's kind of we kind of knew this stuff.
From my perspective, yeah, I think we anticipated what it's looking at.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. I would be interested to ask you, Tom, why would Google be saying that backlinks aren't important, and then this leak is obviously showing that they are?
From my perspective, backlinks are very similar to something that we saw in science. Backlinks are not something new. It was something that Google took from science, that is probably over 100 years old.
Right.
So it's basically counting citation. If you look at citations of something, that means something is valuable. Easy as that. That's why I think it will be still very important to get these citations, because that's a proof of if something is valuable.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. And I guess Google's always in this position of trying to make sure people aren't just thinking about hacking their way to buying backlinks or doing weird hacking things, and just trying to focus on creating content that's interesting to people.
Exactly. Definitely they have some mechanism to check if the backlinks are true and not somebody that tries to scam Google.
Yeah.
But nothing is perfect, right?
Yeah, totally. And so what's your, what do you think your best ways are for building backlinks in 2024?
I would say PR. Like, so PR is the new backlinking
Yeah.
strategy. So creating valuable content, original research, like that's really amazing. Something that you can write about, have data that everybody else wants to share.
Yeah.
This is something that I would go after.
Yeah. And starting, like, I love that idea of like, you starting with the content and so like original research is actually interesting versus starting with trying to hack it type thing, right?
There will still be some kind of hacking in it, but sharing your experience and sharing data is definitely a way to help. Content marketing consists of two words, content and marketing.
Yeah.
So if you do content that is valuable, remember to also market it.
Yeah, that's such a good point because it's so not build it and they will come, right? It's like...
Exactly, like you have to help your life.
Yeah, yeah. And I think content marketers sometimes have just expected that, you know, you, especially being the sense of being a content creator, it's only half the puzzle. Like, sure, you got to create it, but then you got to distribute it and you actually got to spend a good amount of time thinking about that.
Yeah, otherwise your mom will like it, your dad, and that will be all.
So true. So true, man. Okay, well, so we've kind of covered that Google leak and the fact that potentially it's not a huge deal. We knew a lot of that stuff. Covered that. Thanks, Rand Fishkin. But we, you know, good to get the validation, but no surprises there. Create quality content, focus on authority, backlinks. It's good.
Yeah, definitely.
Brilliant. Okay, Tom, let's talk through some other big trends in SEO. Like, if there's one space in marketing that's always changing and always adapting, I think it's SEO. So talk us through some of those big ones. Like, I'm interested to talk through zero-click search.
So right now, like Google is rolling out SGE, so they're rolling out answering with AI. The big topic is if it will take over a lot of space in Google and it will take over the clicks.
Yeah.
Probably yes, but still for short answer, like when I'm thinking about it, you have limited space in Google that you can cover like with an answer. So let's go with a recipe for pizza. There is not enough space to put it there. So they have to still send it to a page. So I wouldn't be afraid too much about SG taking over all the area in Google and taking over the clicks. Of course, it will be probably a little bit better.
Yeah.
It will take over something, but actually, I think right now, because of all the updates that Google is rolling out, I feel they got rid of a lot of weed and a lot of spam in the internet, and there's like so much space. I can see tremendous growth in the last half a year because they actually did a great job with removing a lot of spam from the internet.
Cool. Oh, that's really cool to hear. One thing with SG that you would have seen this obviously because you're way more in it than me, is a lot of these funny kind of like
eat more
errors.
rocks.
Yeah. Or like put super glue on your pizza or something.
Yeah, I already tried this one. Like, doesn't work.
You tried that one? And you're still alive. That's good to know you're still alive. But
because it was organic.
yeah, it was organic super glue.
Exactly.
So what's your thought on that? Like, it kind of opens it up to, you know, having these kinds of errors come in, but is that just a short-term kind of thing, or?
Like they will learn. Like they had to roll it out really fast to compete with ChatGPT.
Yeah.
So they had to break some things.
Yeah.
I don't mind like them answering some of these things like that.
Right. Okay, cool. What's your thought on, the whole ChatGPT and Gemini and stuff? Like, they almost are starting to become search engines. People ask questions inside them, right?
Actually, from my perspective, it's extremely interesting to look at them from the search engine perspective because I can see already among like some of our customers and us like that we're getting a lot of traffic directly from there. So there's the whole topic that is undiscussed, like that you have to check out, like how to do SEO for AI. So how to actually get something out of it. I still don't know. I don't have an answer for that, but that will be definitely an interesting trend. Yeah,
really interesting trend. And just this whole sense of people having that search intent, but going to another space for it. And I was hanging out with a friend this week, and the whole week he's just on his phone with the OpenAI ChatGPT app, asking it questions and just like talking to it, you know, for like, where should we go for dinner and what's this? And
I don't like doing that with ChatGPT. I
No.
prefer to go with Gemini. It has like far better knowledge about actual data
right.
or perplexity. But definitely that's a new trend that you have to go into.
Yeah, really interesting. So coming back on the zero-click search stuff in SG, how does it potentially change the way we need to be thinking about creating content and writing content? Like, it might not potentially be so much about the click anymore, but how do you think about that?
I would go, we can see in the last couple of years that there is a trend to making longer and longer form content that is more in depth. And I think that it will continue just because SG can't put long form into Google. So what they will do, they will just like grab like some small pieces from your article, and then still they will send a person to your article.
Okay.
Because like, if they want to go in depth, and it's not about reading the whole article, they will still read pieces of it. But definitely this will be the way to go.
Okay. So you're encouraging people to think about, you know, still trying to get people to come to your website, not sort of saying, okay, only optimize for zero click, but do in depth so that people still will come.
Just don't overthink it. Like the more you think, like sometimes it will just not work. But I would continue to do that. But use AI a little bit to help you out.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. We'll get into that in just a second. But I guess that's the thing with SEO is there's always these changes, there's always new updates and everything. And so it's to stick to the fundamentals almost and not to, it's like shiny object syndrome, right?
Yeah, like, look, Google said about 20 years ago or over 20 years ago, like, create valuable content. And that stands. Like,
it sounds too simple though.
It is, but like, valuable content, they got really good at being a referee. Like, we tried to scam it so many times in the last decade or two.
Yeah.
Some of these things worked for a year or two.
Yeah.
But right now, just creating valuable content, I think this is the way to go, and Google is really good at being a referee.
Cool. Really cool. And it's interesting to think about Google as a referee in terms of, you know, they're trying to balance the content with what people are searching, and they need, you know, they're always optimizing to do that better and better, right?
Yeah.
Really cool. Okay. Well, what I propose to you, Tom, is that we've had this beautiful walk through Avignon. Why don't we have a sit down, have a coffee? Have you had a coffee yet today?
No.
Oh my goodness, you need a coffee.
Sure.
And I did not that these answers have been bad or anything, but I can't believe it's been so interesting even without a coffee. So when we come back, Tom will have his coffee, and it's just going to go to a new level.
Thank you.
See you soon. Here we are, Tom. We're sat down at a cafe. We're about to get our coffees. Let's talk through some more trends in SEO, okay? So we talked zero-click search and a bit of that leak. What else do you see?
So, like, there are two things that I can see because...
C'est bon, merci.
SEO is like over-focused on over-optimization, and I think it's already gone. Like, when you're thinking about SEO and just stuffing keywords inside the article and that it will work, I think it's gone. It's all about the search intent. So this is one thing that you have to look into. Giving value and focusing on the search intent. And the second thing that I can see is using actually AI to help you out to find the search intent. I call it Cyborg Method. So like a human working with AI together, no AI taking over humans' jobs or something like that. We can use it for many things. In some cases, humans are better. And in some cases, like, let's be honest, AI is better. Like, I'm a half a developer, half a marketer, but still I can see, like, look, I can't compete with some cases. Like, it can read like 30 pages, 100 pages in a couple of seconds. I can't. It will take me a day or two. So when looking at research, massive amounts of data, definitely AI is better. But we do have experience. We talk to the customers, we talk to the product team. We have like a lot of experience and things that we do on a daily basis that give us additional insights that we can also put in. And when looking at EEAT, like from Google, This is exactly that, like experience, expertise. Like look at ourselves as some experts that can add value on top, add opinions that we have, AI doesn't.
Yeah. So those things that, that's a really cool way to think about it. Those things that AI doesn't have that we have, expertise, opinions, a point of view. What other sorts of things do we have? Like that experience of speaking to customers, speaking to real people, kind of like a human side.
So we can drive the whole thing. So we can have this expertise over the content creation process, like in SEO. AI will help. It's kind of I call it chat storming, kind of. So we can ask AI to be our teammates, equals, not an intern. I think actually don't treat AI as an intern because it can know and do a lot of things. Really good, but we can be a team. And think about it from this perspective. Increase your ROI of things. You can be a 10x person, any kind of person. Give AI all the things that you hate, and you don't want to because they're repetitive, same thing over and over. And it can do it, and it will be happy to do it.
This makes me think of this thing I thought about. I heard recently, which was a quote. I don't know who from, but it was like, we should have AI doing our laundry and the things we hate, rather than making art and the things we love. You know, sometimes you see like Mid-Journey and they're making beautiful images, and like our artist's going to be out of a job. Maybe we should think about it differently. Like get AI, like you're saying, to do all the things we hate doing anyway. That we're not particularly good at.
Actually, I've met one person, I don't remember exactly the company, but her job was to ask around all the people and ask them like, what do you hate? And she was trying to automate these things using AI, which was amazing. Like the whole thought behind it in the company, to have this person that will talk to all the people to see repetitive things that they do on daily basis and how she can optimize it.
Super cool. Love that. I love that. So tell us more about the Cyborg method, because it's kind of a method you've come up with yourself, right? And you've kind of coined. How do you approach it? And what does it look like practically?
So I use AI for a lot of things that I have to research and drafting content, then combining it with my knowledge as a special matter expert to create something that matters, something that is valuable. But I named it, but also like you can think a lot, like look at a lot of people on the market that are doing the same thing, like not calling it Cyborg Method. And that's pretty cool that a lot of people think alike, that they see an opportunity to combine their knowledge as humans with AI, but just think about it, how to work as one. That's why I call it Cyborg, because Cyborg is implementing
part
exactly like and using it as your own strengths, like call it however you want. Just like combine it with your skills and amplify your skills. Be a superhero.
Super cool. Do you have any like examples of the type of work you've done? Like if we can dive into the detail on this, like how did you use AI and yourself? Like what did that Cyborg method actually look like in practice on a specific example?
Sure thing. So when I'm looking at creating a brief, like my focus is on search intent. So I go to Google, I check like who's my competition. Actually, I automate this part. Like I scrape the content from competition just to understand exactly what they're speaking about. And I'm providing it to AI. So I'm automating the research part, but always when I'm working with AI, I'm providing it with knowledge, because I don't treat AI as a search engine. We talked about it, that a lot of people do treat it as a search engine, but I treat it as a logical engine. So something that can provide you with an answer, but you have to deliver the context that it needs to make a decision. Think about AI from a perspective of a human. So if you as a human are writing about something, like let's go with coffee. Perfect, right? So I'm a big fan of coffee. I can write from top of my head. But if I don't research, if I don't go to a coffee place like this one, I don't go to Google, I will not know all types of coffee there are. Like even from the beans perspective, I would probably remember about Arabica or Robusta, but like Excelsa, like who knows that? Like, nobody knows. Like,
you only know what you know.
Exactly. So like go into the research part. But when you're researching and you're reading through like 100 pages, AI will be far better with that. But give it the context, provide it with all the context that it needs to give you an answer. So for example, if I'm writing an outline, instead of going and writing an outline with AI, just telling, look, AI, I'm writing about coffee. Can you give me an outline for that?
Yeah.
I'm like saying, I'm writing about coffee. Can you give me an outline for that? But you know what? I know exactly what's the search intent. Here are the outlines of top 10 search results performers.
Yeah.
Like, take it into account. Like,
Into account, yeah.
treat it as context.
Yeah.
And can you give me something for that?
Yeah, because so much comes back to the prompt, right? And I've heard things like, AI is going to change, obviously, the types of roles we have in marketing and stuff. And I've heard this term coined like prompt engineer. So like being able to ask the right prompt, you're only going to get back what you ask a lot of times. And if you put just if you don't put enough detail, you're not going to get a great.
Exactly, but a lot of people are overthinking the ask part. For me, the ask part is 1% of the problem.
Okay.
It's all about the context. So like you have to deliver the context, but in a way that is digestible for it.
Okay.
So just don't pour in like 300 pages of text and say like do something with that.
Okay.
Because we as humans, we also can't do that.
Yeah.
So the more contextual you are, focus on the topic, the better.
Okay.
But for that, you have to automate some things.
So what you're saying is you can't just pump in a huge amount of text and say, hey, deal with this. You've got to actually think through and write something that's digestible for the AI.
Exactly,
Yeah.
because it has to understand what you want it to do. So if you just like say, do something with that, we as humans, we don't know what to do with such instructions.
Yeah.
So always think about AI. If you would give it to an intern, would this intern do something with that? Or you actually have to optimize it for that? Do you have to get the things that are correct, like so this person will understand?
Yeah.
Or like it's okay.
Yeah. Okay. We've all had that terrifying boss who's like, just do it, and you're like, what the? I don't even know what to do.
Most of you are intelligent. You'll deal with that. Like,
yeah. No, but that's cool. Okay, so that's kind of that research phase. You're kind of using AI to essentially help you digest a huge amount of information in the research. How do you go on with that then?
And then what I do, I use a combination of normally Python and AI because AI is not perfect for everything. Let's be honest. It's a really good tool for making predictions, but it's bad with counting and doing things that have one single answer.
Okay, sure.
So it's very creative. But what I'm doing then, I'm trying to compile a brief in a way that is digestible for writing the whole article, and then I'm writing it piece by piece, saying look AI, for this H2, so I'm dividing it to separate H2s, every single one. This is your tone of voice. This is what our special matter expert said. This is what I got from search intent from our competition. These are additional statistics and quotes that you can use for this specific heading.
Okay.
Then I'm going heading by heading.
Okay. What does that bring you going heading by heading?
That I can specify exactly what I wanted there.
In that section.
Exactly. Yeah. Because I'm not pouring in too much knowledge on AI for the whole thing, because then it goes crazy. It goes too creative.
Too creative.
Which is a problem, right?
Yeah. So you kind of, in that way, going section by section and the specific H2, you retain a bit of control over just it focusing on that part.
Yeah.
But you also help it do what it does best as well.
Yes, because from the perspective, our perspective, what we want to have from AI, to give it direct instructions that it has to obey.
Yeah.
With a bit of creativity on top, right?
Sure.
It doesn't work like that. It's like the temperature that you use in AI. Either is 0 or it's 1. So 0 means it's very precise and goes right according to what you said. Or 1, it goes very creative.
Right.
So if you ask it a question a temperature of 0, what's the most common pet at home, it will answer always dog or a cat.
Yeah.
If you go ramp it up to 1, it will go with a dolphin, for example, right? But we expect, so it mixes these things together.
Yeah.
So it will give us a dolphin at the same time, it will follow some of the instructions.
Right.
It doesn't work this
Doesn't
way.
work like that. Okay. It's either one or the other.
At the moment, yes. Maybe they will fix it at some point, but it's really a big, hard topic too.
Okay, cool. So, that's really interesting. So you're literally going through your outline section by section, giving it really clear prompts in terms of what you wanted to write per H2.
Yes.
Cool. And then how much work do you do off the back of that to tidy it up?
So
usually?
The whole process that I told you about, I automate it. For me, it's just clicking and choosing, dragging and dropping, right? When I'm writing an article, the final prompts that are writing article, for every 3,000 words that I write, I use about like 12 to 14,000 of words that I put in.
Okay.
But in a digestible way.
So
this
you
is
put
one
in
thing.
12,000 words and you get 3,000 out.
More or less, like, because this is how we as humans work also, like we have to read a lot more to go after a topic, like to write like 3,000 words, like you need to read more
if you want it to be
like,
good.
Very contextual. What I take out of it, I treat as a really good draft, which is like 80% ready.
Cool.
And then as a human, as a special matter expert in the field, I'm trying to give additional knowledge, like additional input from my perspective, my opinions. Why did Reddit blow up? Like, because it's full of opinions, like about specific topics.
Sure, totally. And that's what you're not going to get from AI, right? That's potentially where you have to go back and bring your opinions into the thing, right?
That's an opportunity for you. Like, just dig into the things that people are talking at your company.
Yeah.
Take these small nuggets and put them in. Like, even if they're really different from what you see in SERPs, because you can do kind of a sandwich, right? Like, put in 60-70% of what's in the search intent.
Yeah.
And on top of that, add your opinions. If you think that you have a better opinion, better idea of like what should SERP results look like, how they should look like, unfortunately you're wrong. Like you can add this thing on top, but don't focus on it fully, because Google has the idea of like what's the search intent. Like, you need to put it in there.
Yeah, sure. So you kind of like, because that's what's always interested me about SEO is that, you know, we're all looking at the same things and we're looking at what's ranking. And so in some ways it makes a lot of things the same. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But then what you're saying is to rank, you need to feed what's the same, but then bring your own take to it in a way.
Yeah, but it's not that you're copying one competitor, or like it's not actually you're copying, like you're use your competitors as puzzles, take small pieces of every single one of them and combine it together. Like, let's be honest, like all the people that are talking about content writing and that humans can write like something totally different, no, they can't. They will still write about the same topic, but just in a different perspective. Like, because they will take like different pieces from different things, and put it together also. Rewrite it in a different style, definitely. So do the same thing, like just take small things from every single one of them, and you'll create this way something new. This is how you create things that are new.
Love it. Really cool. Yeah, and that's what humans do as well. That's not just an AI thing. Like we're always reading and digesting information from all sorts of things, and we're not, there's no new ideas really.
No, it's combining like ideas together. Like you're not doing like some cutting edge science. Like it's not even 1% of content that is created that is cutting edge science.
For sure. Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, really cool, man. I'm keen to get into, let me know if you can speak to this, but obviously if we think about search, like obviously Google, huge thing, and text-based content is a massive thing. But I've heard more and more people talk about like the likes of TikTok being more and more a search engine. What's your thought on that? Like,
I don't know. Like, I'm a boomer. Like,
same.
I really don't know much about TikTok. Like, still, my kids are too young to tell me about it. But like in a couple of years, I will definitely learn more.
You'll know a bunch about it from them.
Haven't been there.
Yeah, fair enough. That's cool, man. What about YouTube? Like, how do you think about SEO on YouTube?
It's definitely working. Like, I didn't crack it yet. From my perspective. Yeah. But you can definitely see a lot of people that are working and getting tons of traffic and conversions from there. If somebody has an idea how to do it and make something interesting, I think you can use YouTube as a search engine to resolve certain problems and bring in the customers.
Cool. Okay, cool, man. Well, this has been a fantastic conversation. I've finished my coffee. You still got a little bit. That's great. Do you have any final thoughts on things we potentially haven't touched on yet, or things you wanted to talk about?
I don't think so. Like, still, I would say, like, if you're afraid of using AI, just go into different kinds of models. Like, they're really close to you. You can go to Gemini, you can go to Claude. I really love Claude. I'll be honest. Like,
Okay.
I'm amazed how good it goes with instructions compared to ChatGPT. And they're all different. You have to find
Right.
your solution that you want to use. Like Gemini goes more into factual data, but at the same time, it's very dry. ChatGPT is very creative in the way and flowery.
Yeah. Always starts with, in a world where something. Yeah.
And then
in the dynamic world of content marketing.
and there's Claude, like, which is a combination of these two.
Okay.
It goes really good with factual data. It's more concise than ChatGPT. But it follows instructions, so you can mold it a little bit more than Gemini.
Okay. Nice.
Because Gemini is very educational in the way it tries to talk.
Yeah.
I would say. We had the fun experiment because we had one customer that wanted to speak like fairies, like because they had a gardening store.
Awesome.
So we made like the brand voice like to speak like fairies. So there was
good.
magical dust all over the content. But with Gemini, you wouldn't be able to achieve it. Like with Claude, probably yes. But that shows exactly how you can mold it.
Yeah. What were you using to do that with your client?
ChatGPT. Like, so yeah.
That's something I haven't thought about. Yeah, like, you know, they're not all one and the same. Like Gemini's not the same as ChatGPT as Claude. So you got to think about your use case and what might work best, and just test different things.
Exactly, and provided with knowledge. Like, so if you have some knowledge, like provided with, it will not guess it. It doesn't have the whole internet in one finger.
Yeah.
The more you will provide with knowledge, the less it will hallucinate.
Yeah. Nice, man. Okay, so for people listening or watching, is there anything, if they're wanting to get started on potentially the Cyborg method, or even thinking about how they can connect AI to their SEO approach, what should they do as first steps?
You can either go to our page to SEOwind.io or find me on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I'm trying to share as much knowledge as possible. So if I can give you something that will help you out to start doing something in a different way the next day, like, reach out to me. I will definitely give you more context to that.
Awesome.
And follow like people like Joe. Like, he's amazing. Like, really love him.
Thank you, man. You're very encouraging on LinkedIn. You're always commenting, and
thank you.
It's much appreciated. But no, I do recommend you follow Tom. He's got some great content out there and always sharing cool stuff on SEO. So fantastic. Well, Tom, this has been great. Appreciate you coming.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And good luck for the rest of the drive.
It was really nice to visit Avignon.
Yeah. And you brought your SEOwind to Avignon.
Yeah.
Love it, man.
Thanks
we'll see you next time on Content Marketing Commute. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye-bye.